Maintain attraction. Even cowards can endure hardship. Only the brave can endure suspense. Mignon McLaughlin. If you're only interested in short-term relationships, there's no need to worry about maintaining attraction over a long period of time. In brief encounters, all that's required is the initial spark of attraction to catch a woman's attention and seduce her. On the other hand, if you want to maintain a long-term relationship, you must know how to keep the fires of attraction alive, not just now, but over the course of many years. One reason why the divorce rate is currently so high, over 50% in developed countries, and the reason why women initiate the majority of divorces, approximately 70%, is that women often lose attraction for their husbands and see no alternative but to end the relationship. Case study number 24. He changed. Ben used to be a player. He knew all the pickup lines, and he knew exactly where, when, and how to meet women and seduce them. He was so good at seducing women, in fact, that he always had 3 to 5 girls in his life at any one time. And right now, Ben was seeing Michelle, Kate, and Irene at various times throughout the week. As far as Ben was concerned, Irene was just another girl in a long line of conquests. At least, that was how he felt about her in the beginning. It wasn't long, however, before Ben started to pay more attention to Irene. She was different to all the other girls. She was sexy, beautiful, ambitious, and interesting. She was also fantastic in bed, and she let Ben do things to her that most men could only dream about. It wasn't long before Ben was spending more time with Irene and less time with Michelle and Kate. A month later, Ben decided to focus exclusively on Irene. He had just turned 38, and Ben felt it was time to have a serious relationship after so many years fooling around. 12 months later, Ben and Irene were married with a baby on the way. Now, only a month into the marriage, Ben was already starting to see the cracks appear in their relationship. For one, he had noticed that Irene was becoming increasingly bitchy and disrespectful towards him. On a number of occasions, she had even told him she couldn't stand the sight of him. At first, Ben thought she was joking. It turned out she wasn't. On another occasion, Irene had gone so far as to call Ben a stupid bitch. Where was all this animosity and hatred coming from? Ben closed his eyes and thought back to a time when Irene had wrapped her arms around him and told him how much she loved him. God, he missed those days. Now that Irene was pregnant, it was clear that she was starting to lose interest in Ben. Irene didn't know what was wrong with her, but she knew her feelings towards Ben had changed. She wondered if her bitchiness might be caused by prenatal depression or the stress of being pregnant. The moment they tied the knot, Ben had made the marriage his #1 priority. He was always going out of his way to make her happy, and he was constantly telling her how much he loved her. He even bought Irene a new house as a sign of love and devotion to her and their unborn child. Despite all this, whenever Irene looked at Ben, she felt nothing but disappointment bordering on contempt. One night, in a moment of calm serenity, Irene told Ben she was trying to figure out what was wrong with her, and she needed space and time to process her thoughts and feelings. Ben didn't like the sound of that. Space? He told Irene there was no way he could leave her alone, especially when she was pregnant. Over the next couple of weeks, Irene became increasingly irate as Ben tried his best to fix the relationship. Then, one morning, Irene woke up and with perfect clarity knew what she had to do. She got into her car, drove to the clinic, and had an abortion. Irene wanted nothing more to do with Ben. In fact, the very sight of him made her feel sick. He wasn't the man she had fallen in love with. It was his fault, not hers. In the beginning, she had relished the occasional moments of attention he had given her. She knew he was seeing other women, but she found the challenge of winning him over both thrilling and exciting. It wasn't until later that Irene came to realize how much Ben had changed. If she had a craving for chocolate, Ben would run to the store and buy her chocolate. If she disagreed with him, he would instantly back down and try to please her. What happened to the man she had fallen in love with? Now Irene couldn't look at Ben without feeling a sense of regret. His weakness was palpable. Irene felt as though she no longer had any time to herself, and whenever she needed space, Ben was always there, hanging around in the background like a bad smell. Irene knew she now had no choice but to get out of the relationship as fast as possible. In the early stages of a relationship, the connection is still fresh and invigorating. Then, over the course of time, the man starts to soften. He lets his guard down and becomes sweeter and more responsive to the woman's needs. This works for a time, perhaps a couple of weeks, perhaps a couple of months. Then, out of nowhere, the woman becomes increasingly withdrawn and difficult to deal with. For her part, the woman has no idea why she's feeling so ambivalent about the relationship. The only thing she knows for sure is that she no longer feels the same way. She wants out, and the relationship, as far as the woman is concerned, is dead. This section is all about maintaining attraction. If you want to keep attraction alive in a long-term relationship, you need to know how to handle problems when they arise, and you need to know how to maintain attraction over an extended period of time, keeping the fires of attraction alive through the good times and the bad.